Hello everyone. Today I'm going to put together a treadmill. So we got this for Christmas, and I didn't see anything on the YouTube that had a assembly for this unit. So this is the Proform Sport 7.0. Okay, you can see. You get closer, you can see it. Okay. So you can see here, it's the Proform Sport 7.0, and I'm thinking that most of the Proform line would probably be the same assembly. So I went ahead and took everything out of the box, and this was in one piece, and this head unit here is also in one piece, but everything else is in pieces here. Okay, so first I was looking online to see if there's any assembly instructions, and there was one guy that did it, and he did it really fast, and I didn't learn anything from it. And then there was another one that was made for a Sport 9.0, but it was also a little bit different. So I went ahead and decided to go and make a video for anyone that has the same model. We got this from Costco. It was on sale from Costco. So let's get into it and show you how I put it together. All right, so I took everything out. The first thing I did was connect the wiring to the handle, the right handle. So what it is, they gave you this little wire, which was all the way through here, through the support beam here. And all you got to do is take this wire that goes to the display and run it up here through the support. So that's not that hard. So you just tie one end and pull it through, and it went through the other end. You clip this thing on, and then you screw in the ground wire, which they give you in the instructions. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach this right pole to the unit. Okay, so this here, I was looking earlier, there was a bolt right here. I took it out, but it's supposed to go back in. And so the next thing to do is I'll put that back in. The next thing is to get another bolt and put it in here, this one. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So what they do is that first you got to loosen this bolt here. Okay, so you have to loosen it up because this piece right here will slide into that bolt. Okay, you can see that? Yes, you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, you see right here?
Kind of.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick this up, and then this will slide right into that bolt to hold it. There we go. Okay. Then you take the other bolt right here and put it in back here. Can you see back here?
Kinda. I need to like go around.
Yeah, go ahead, go around. Yeah, so this bolt right here goes right here. It's a little hard to line up, but it'll line up. So that goes in here. All right, so let me get this started, and then we'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna finish bolting this thing on. All right, it's tight. And come on this side, and then I'm gonna tighten up the other bolt. Really? All right. Now we gotta get the third bolt and bolt it through here. Oh, see, I shouldn't have tightened everything because it's not lined up. So let me loosen everything back up. So just remind everybody that don't tighten everything up until everything lines up. So I'm gonna, okay, let me loosen it up and we'll be right back. Okay, I loosened all the bolts, and so before you tighten them all up, you have to make sure that all the holes are lining up. Okay, there's one here, and then there's two back here, which is this one, which I first put it on, and then the one back here also. And you have to read the instruction. This is number 4 bolt, and this is number 3 bolt. Right here, but you just gotta follow directions. So now once everything is loose, first time I tightened the top 2 bolts, and the holes on the bottom didn't line up, so I had to loosen them back up, and then line up the holes, and then screw the bolts in before I tighten everything up. So right now I'm gonna tighten these 4 bolts, and we'll complete the first side post. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything up, and we'll be right back. Okay, this is what the other side looked like. It came with the bolt like this. Okay, and all you had to do is take the bottom here, which you can see has a slot. You slide that into that bolt, and then put the other bolt in. This side doesn't have the wiring, so it should be nice and easy to put in. Okay, it's the same thing as the other side. You take the long bolt, just like the other one. Remember, we're not going to be tightening up anything. And the short one goes up front, and the long one will go in the back. Make sure everything's nice and loose. See, much better than the one on the other side that I tightened everything up before I put in all the bolts. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these up, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I went ahead and tightened these 4 bolts just like we did the other side. 1, 2, 3, and then over here is 4. The 4th one's on this side here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now both of these are bolted in. It's nice and sturdy. All right. Go ahead and put everything back. I'll put that back in a minute. Okay, so now the next step is going to be putting the cross brace on, remove and save the 4 indicator. So you go ahead and remove the 2 bolts that are on the side here, and then we're going to put the arm pieces together. Okay, all right. Let me go get the pieces and be right back. Okay, we're back. So what I did was that I went ahead and they tell you to take off these 4 screws from the side here. And I did that to this side. I just want to show you this because these are the 4 screws that they want to take off. So I'll go ahead and remove those. Okay, remove those. And then the next step was to put the arm on. And it's, you're going to use the bolt number 5. This label with the washer, so 2 on each side. So we're gonna go ahead and put it together.
I think they go into here.
Oh, okay. Yes, they do.
Into here.
I was wondering what was weird because the bolts was longer than the. See? So one goes in here. I was like, wait a minute. that's why I was concerned, because this thing here, when I take it out, you can see that this thing here is very thin. So if I screwed it all the way through, it had nothing to grab onto except for the smooth part up here. See? All right. Here we go. That's more like it. Good call. You only need a redirection. You got to do what the instruction says. So this little tool that they give you, this little tool. So this is included in your hardware kit. I'm not going to tighten that tight right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other side, and we'll be right back. Okay, the next step is putting this crossbar.
Like here?
No.
This, that way? Okay.
Just like that. Okay, with these two, the L shape facing up. All right, so the two screws that I took off earlier, we're going to reuse them with the washer. Okay, so one's going to go in here. And the other one, I'm going to do it by hand. I don't know where. Oh, right there it is. You had it. You put it right there. That's right there. It's okay.
This side first and that side.
Do one each and then I will hold it. There. Okay. And it's about an inch apart. So you have to squeeze this thing in. Is where you need to suck it out. What do you like to do so? Okay, so we went ahead and attached it, and we'll finish it up. And so we're going to put the 4 bolts in here and squeeze this thing in. All right. Okay. We'll finish that, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, the next step is going to be putting this plastic. They call it console base on. So you take this. So we just put this thing on, all right, by the 4 screws. And now we're putting the plastic console on. And then I have 4 screws that given to you, and they screw from underneath. It's hard to see, so I'm gonna, right here, there's 1, 2 on each side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and screw those in. There's 1 on each side too. Alright. Okay, I'll finish those and now we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Next step is step 11. It tells you to unscrew these 2 outer screws on the bar. First, you take the console and flip it over on its on top of something soft so you don't scratch it. And then they tell you to remove these 2 outer screws and then right and left, these goes into here. These are your little pockets. And then also take out these screws on the edge. So we're going to do that. So take these 2 out, take these 4 out, and then install the holders with 8 little screws. So we're going to do that next. Okay? All right, we'll be right back. All right, we went ahead and took the crossbar here this crossbar was sitting like this. So remember we unscrew the two outer screws, and it comes apart like that. All right, and that's gonna go up here. And then we went ahead and screwed the two holders in. So that was simple, just 4 screws on each side, and we just did that. And then we took the 2 bolts that were here off and put them on the side. They're over here. And now we're ready for the next step, which is step 13. So step 13 saying that we need to put this here on top with this piece right here facing forward. There were 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4 that we took out. There was 4 screws in there. We took them out and we replaced this inside as a crossbar. And then under the hardware plate, you got 4 new screws with 4 silver washers. All right. So as you can see, 4 silver washer, 4 new screws. Actually, these screws that were here are actually the same screw, but they gave you 4 new ones, maybe because they want you to use the new ones, so it'd be tight. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with that. One at a time. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and install the 4 screws in, and we'll be ready for the next step. Oop. Ah. Where's my Phillips screwdriver?
Right there.
Remember, everything loose until you get everything on. Okay, we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we're back. I had to get help with this next part because one of us has to hold the console while the other one connects up the wires and make sure it doesn't fall over. Okay, so the next step is the step number 14 is taking the console, rest it on the crossbars, and then you're gonna connect the 2 wires from one from the console to the ground here. All right, and then you're gonna set the console down on top of the crossbar. Make sure that there's no wires pinching, they say. Okay, and then the next step is gonna put the screws that you took out of the bars on the edge here. There's 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. I know you can't see it, but you can look at the pictures with a washer. It's the one with the X head, the hex head on it. Okay, I have to line it up. I don't see the holes yet. Let's see here. All right, we lined up the 4 screws. These tighten up on that side, and I'm going to finish up with this side, tightening up on this side. So the 4 screws are going to go in on each side of the bar. It did take a little bit of effort to line it up, so it wasn't perfectly lined up, so you kind of have to make sure the screws are loose and kind of wiggle it in there. And once you do that, it should fall into place. All right, look at what the next step is going to be.
15. Attach the pulse crossbar to the console assembly with core number 8 times 3/4 inch screws. Start all 4 screws and tighten them. Do not over tighten the screws.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're attaching screws
Onto that.
and the crossbar down here. This one.
Okay. So I used a ratchet. They do supply you with this here, but I'd rather have this because it's a lot easier to work with than the one they give you. Okay, so next step is going to be attaching this plastic piece, crossbar onto the metal frame of the treadmill. So these are the little screws. As you can see, I know it's hard to see, but they're little screws, and we're gonna put those into the 4 holes, right? It's 4 holes, right?
Yep, 4 holes.
Okay, so that's our next step. You have to push down from the top. Because I have to actually go through that first plastic. So once we do that, and now we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so we went ahead and put the 4 hex head screws onto the frame of the console. There's 2 here and 2 over there, and then there's 4 screws that goes onto the arm across here where it takes your pulse. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So we did all that. It was a little bit tricky to get it lined up, but we finally did it. So you have 2 people, definitely a lot easier than 1 person. Okay, so next step is, what's the next step? What number are we on now?
We did that. We did. We're on 16. I'm pretty sure. Step 16, which is we're attaching left handrail cover.
Okay, so the left handrail
and the right handrail cover.
So it goes like this onto the bar. That's where you hold the side of your hands on the rail. So we're going to put those together with 2 screws. So 1, 2.
There's 2 holes on the.
Okay, so we're going to do that.
Yes, that's in the right way.
Oh. That's probably weird.
Let's see. Yeah, that fits a bit better. Should we move the camera around so you can see it?
You can see. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that for each side. Okay, so put them together just like that. And once we screw them on, then I will let you see. So next step is to put the two rails, plastic rails, onto the metal. Screw it together.
Like that.
Okay, perfect.
Like this.
All right, so we'll finish that and then we'll continue. Okay, we finished putting the 2 side handrails on, the plastic handrails. It was a little bit more difficult because it wasn't lining up like it's supposed to, so there were some fitment difficulties here. So I want to show you what I was talking about. So these gaps here, if you can see, there's gaps in here and gaps in here that made it very difficult for these 2 pieces to go together. So what you had to do was, you put this piece on first, the top piece, and you screw 2 screws up from the bottom, and then the second piece, which is the bottom part, we'll put on here, and then you screw 2 more screws from the bottom up right here. Okay, so there was 2 screws to screw the top on, and 2 more screws to screw the bottom part on. So it's actually 2 separate pieces. And as you can see, it was having a hard time lining up because there was a gap here. We were trying to push it together, but once you screw the screw on, it actually pulled it apart. It was worse on this side here. As you can see, if you can see it, it's a big gap over here. Which, you know, we didn't want to keep it loose because I didn't want it to be moving around. But when you tighten it up real tight, it actually separated you can see there's a separation. And there's nothing you can do about it, really. It's just the fitment just doesn't fit perfectly. You know, you're looking at a $600 treadmill compared to, you know, thousands of dollar treadmills, so you're gonna run into these problems. Okay, so next step is step 17. We're gonna put in the safety latch. So what that does is, once you put it on like that, and you bring up the platform, it will go in here and you pull it out, and the platform will go here, and you let it go, and the platform will be right here. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on with 2 screws, and we'll come back to you after we put it on. Yep, I'll start with one.
Okay. Thanks.
It might be a little hard since it's going to metal. So those are the 2 screws, so we'll finish that, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay everyone, I've finished installing the treadmill and put it together. They see here, next step is to actually activate it. As you can see, it has a plastic cover that says before first use the treadmill, it's actually locked, and you have to go in and unlock your treadmill. But before you do that, they tell you go ahead and make sure that all the screws and nuts and bolts are tightened. So I went ahead and went back and tightened all these bolts that we tightened before, remember, in the front here, and then these on both sides. So there's 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here that needs to be make sure they're tightened on both sides. And then I went up here and retightened these 2 right here also on each side, these 2 bolts. And then what else? I think those are the most important part. Like I said, the fitment is not perfect. As you can see on this side, there's a gap right here. There's a gap there, and also there's a gap in here also. But besides that, I think everything is pretty solid. Okay, so we went ahead and tightened up everything, and the next step is to follow the directions on the instruction booklet and to activate your treadmill. I think I'm not gonna go through that because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You plug it in and then you go on from there. I haven't done it yet, but I'm sure it's not that hard. All right, so that is the completion of the installation of the Proform Sport 7.0. I hope that you can see it wasn't really hard to put it together. You do need 2 people sometimes, some part of the installation, and you just follow directions. Oh, also I wanted to show you. It was pretty easy because they gave you this hardware kit. Let me show you here. Okay, so this hardware kit right here. Let me get out of the shadow. So the hardware kit they gave you was pretty self-explanatory because it tells you the steps. Each step, like step 3, you use these screws. Step 7 and 8, you use these bolts plus the washer. Step 10, 11, 12, 14, 9 and 14, use that. So it's pretty, I'm surprised it was a pretty easy, you know, connecting everything together if you follow the directions. All right, well I hope this helped and you enjoyed the video. I didn't see any other video out there that showed you how to put this treadmill together. There was one video, but all right, I don't know why the camera shut off, but as you can see that the installation wasn't that hard to just follow directions. Like I said, there wasn't any real good instruction on how to put this treadmill together. I think this is the Sport 7.0 and the Sport 9.0 is pretty much the same. So you can probably watch this and put together the 9.0 also. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Happy Merry Christmas. So hopefully you got one for Christmas, and that way you have a New Year resolution that you're going to be using the treadmill for exercise through this pandemic, and not use it as a coat hanger or put your clothes on to dry or to hang your clothes. Okay, Merry Christmas.